Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Alice. I do videos about sustainable living and minimalism. And in today's video, I want to show you 10 very popular zero waste items that I do not own. Now, the reason behind this video is that this is Zero Waste July and we get bombarded all the time by fantastic zero waste swaps, and it's quite easy to get carried away and to think that we need a lot of these items just because they look so cool, because they are sustainable, and because a lot of people find them useful. But from my point of view, honestly, if I am not going to really use an item as much as it's supposed to be, I don't see the value for me, and I don't really think it's that sustainable after all. So I thought it could be nice to really share with you basically those items I decided against, once to give you a different perspective on these items if you're considering them, but also to really give you an idea of what is my reasoning process when I'm deciding for or against very popular swaps. And please keep in mind that these are really very useful swaps, so if you have them and enjoy them, it's not really a problem. The fact that they didn't work for me doesn't mean that they didn't have to work for you. Number one is a coffee travel mug. Now, this is a fun one because I am actually a heavy coffee drinker and a huge coffee lover. But the fact is that I like to sit down and enjoy my coffee. I hate drinking coffee in a rush, and I hate drinking coffee while I'm walking. So I normally drink coffee at home, and if I'm out and about, I always try to find a nice cafe where I can sit down. And either way, I'm using like a very regular and banal ceramic mug that can be washed many times. And talking about coffee, I also don't have like compostable or reusable coffee filters, and that's because I use this traditional Italian mocha pot. I already did a video on how to use the mocha pot and explaining why I keep using this, so I will link it. But basically, this is what I always use to make coffee. It's my favorite coffee ever, and it has its own metal filter that lasts forever, so I don't really need any extra thing for the mocha pot apart from obviously water and coffee. And since we're talking about kitchen, let's stay in the kitchen. The next thing I don't buy is stasher bags, lunch bags, beeswax wraps, anything like this. Now, these are obviously super useful. The point is just that I have a very small fridge and no freezer at all, so we can't really have too many perishable foods at the same time because we don't have the space for it. So as a consequence, we also don't really need a lot of like food storage solutions. For what we need, our second-hand jars, upcycle jars, and plastic tubs are more than enough. So for now, this is all we need. And I also don't have things like a sandwich wrap, a banana box, onion box, basically any kind of container that has the specific shapes of what is supposed to go inside. So personally, of course, I approach also sustainable swaps from a minimalist point of view, so I prefer to have few items that do a multitude of things instead of having a ton of items that do only one job. And I really don't see the point of having something like a banana box. I can very easily put my banana or my sandwich in a regular box. So this is honestly something that I will never have, I suppose, unless someone gifted it to me. Next is the straw. Now, honestly, I really have nothing against the straw. I totally understand why people love them. It's just that for me, they are a very good example of something that a lot of people never used before, and then suddenly everyone needs to have them just because of how popular they were and the whole straw campaign. Personally, if I never use something before going more sustainable, I don't really see the point of buying it even afterward, with very few exceptions. But generally speaking, if I didn't use it before, I keep on not using it, and that's exactly the case with the straw. So even when I'm out and about, I rather ask them to not put a straw in my drink than bring in my own straw, because in this way it's something less than I have to buy, to clean, to store, and especially to remember bringing with me, because my memory is like golden fish memory. Passing more to the bathroom now, the first thing I don't have there is a leaf or anyway reusable razors. Honestly, I stopped using like disposable razors ages ago, and I've been using an electric one like for the longest time, which means that by the time I started my zero waste journey, I still had it and it still works perfectly. And as always, I don't see the point of buying a new sustainable swaps when I have an old thing that is still working perfectly fine. So for now that stays. The next one is a bamboo toothbrush, and this might sound particularly strange for someone who talks about sustainability, but I couldn't find one that was soft enough for me. So what I'm using instead is this one. This is bioplastic, so it's better than plastic, and the best feature is that you can pop out the head, so you will only change the head, the handle will stay the same, and then the company is partnered with the TerraCycle, so there is a collection point here. You can put the head there, and then they will ship the heads to the company, and they do upcycle them. So personally, I find it a very cool and a very good sustainable alternative to the bamboo toothbrush in case that also doesn't work for you. I'm not saying it's better, I'm not saying it's worse. I honestly think that they both has their pros and cons. I just think it's a good alternative. And yeah, that's it. Next is another weird one, and that is a shampoo bar. So honestly, finding a shampoo bar that really works for you is quite difficult, and apparently it's particularly difficult if you have curly hair, because I've seen a lot of people complaining about this. So yeah, please start making shampoos also for us. But personally, I tried tons of shampoo bars. I tried the loose shampoo, I tried the vinegar rinse, and nothing worse. And what really was a problem is that they completely unbalanced my scalp, and now it's very itchy. It has been quite sore for a while. So basically I had to stop with the experiment and go back to my old shampoo. Does it mean that I will never try another shampoo? No, I still didn't give up to the shampoo bar, but for now I had to give it a break. I still try to be a little bit more sustainable. So first of all, I don't have conditioner, and for the rest of my body I use a shampoo bar. So I really only use a bottle of shampoo for my hair, and I dilute it so that it lasts as long as possible, and I try to buy the biggest bottle I can find, so at least it's just like one bottle for a long period of time instead of a ton of them. Next, and we're almost at the end, and the next point is essential oils. These for me fell into the category of I never used it before and I keep on not using it. Honestly, the only reason why I can think they might be useful is DIYs, but that's probably something else I should add on the list. I'm not really a big DIY person, I don't do that many of them, and the majority of them are for cleaning products, and I use Marseille soap, which has a very nice smell on its own, so I don't really need to add anything else. And essential oil are there just for smell, they don't really do anything to your cleaning product. So personally, it's something that I just don't find the need for. And number 10 is dryer balls. Now, I absolutely hate dryers. They really ruin your clothes, and they take up so much energy, it's insane. So yes, from the moment I could stop using it, I stopped. And that means that I do not have a dryer, I will never have a dryer, and I don't really need dryer balls. And then we have a bonus one, that is cotton bags. And the reason why it's kind of a bonus one is that it's a little bit cheeky, because I do have a ton of cotton bags, but I never bought them. And that's because, let's be honest, you received cotton bags as freebies, you receive them with stuff you buy, you receive them as gifts. Basically, you receive them whether you like them or not. So by the time I even started my zero waste journey, I already had a ton of them, and I didn't see the point of buying something else. Yes, they're not the prettiest, but you know, they do the job. And I personally use cotton bags only as utility bags, so don't particularly care how they look like. So these were my pick for today, and as you can see, all of them were actually quite useful items, and I do see why people find them valuable. So again, I'm not ditching on the item, it's just that I decided that they weren't worth it for me. And the point is not just that I don't want to have too many items in my home, it's also that personally, if I'm not going to use something, I don't believe it's really sustainable, even when it is a sustainable swaps. And that's because we tend to always focus on the end life of an item. So basically, if the item is in theory reusable, it's recyclable, etc., etc. But we don't pay as much attention to all the resources and the energy that are needed to create that item in the first place. And the reality is that a lot of times sustainable alternatives are more resource intensive than the disposable counterparts. And that I believe comes down to the fact that a reusable is meant to be reused many times, so it requires like better material, a more intensive process and things like this. That's uneducated guess, don't take me like, don't quote me on that, but believe me on the fact that a lot of time they are more resource intensive. And consider that for a cotton bag, you should use them more than 100 times for them to be really more sustainable than a plastic disposable bag, which is why I wanted to put back into my list. So again, it's not that the product is not useful in itself, it's just that you need to use it for it to be really sustainable. So if I don't use it, I'm not going to buy it. And that was it for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like this video and to subscribe to my channel. And until next time, bye. Traditional Italian? Oh my god, I'm so bad that I can't even say my country anymore. Kind of fancy I can't speak today. This might sound very strange for someone who talks about responsibility.